This afternoon I have David McClain with me, and he is a tech integration specialist for Abilene Schools USD 435, and we're going to discuss implementation of iPad curriculum with faculty members, teachers here, learning how to use the iPads and how to effectively integrate into their curriculum.
We spent a full year talking about, going through the process of why adopting one-to-one was important and why that was our next logical step. We've been a district that's used technology for a long time and felt like we were at the forefront of using technology. So we put together what we call the A-Learn initiative, and we studied all different areas in terms of rolling it out and looking at how the money would work out in terms of the board. And so we went through the whole process for about a year. So we've had the board's support for the entire time, and have a grant in third grade the year before where they did have one-to-one iPads for third grade.
Yeah.
And so that was in a way our test pilot to see how we liked it, and they really enjoyed it and thought it did a good job for the students. So.
Let's talk a little bit about training the teachers. So can you talk a little bit about, is everyone involved, or are there certain people that are involved? Or did you deploy this district-wide and everyone had training? Was it training that you did personally yourself and conducted, or did you hire it out?
We have, I'm the tech integration specialist for middle school and high school, and Kim Funston is the integration specialist for the elementary schools. And so we were hired in May of 2012, and that summer we put on 10 training sessions for teachers. Let me back up. The year before that, in December, every teacher got an iPad.
Okay.
So teachers had an opportunity to go ahead and begin to look at the iPad and use it and become familiar with the iPad. In May, we were hired, and then that June we started our iPad training sessions in the summer. Those were, volunteer. They weren't mandatory by teachers. And like I said, we had 10 of them, and we had probably 30 to 40 teachers at each one of them. So we didn't have all teachers, but we had, what the early adopters, the people that were wanting to go ahead and find out about it and get started. They were the people that were there and getting started. So we did that the first summer, and then that following year, Kim kind of did a different version, but for me, I meet weekly with every teacher. Middle school, I meet on Tuesdays, where I meet during their common plans, and then high school have a common plan as well through block schedule on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and so I met with them. So we did that all year long, and really worked a lot on just learning how to use the iPad, the literacy part of using the iPad, and also our learning management system called My Big Campus. We have some teachers that, are your early adopters, and by the start of that school year, they had things. I had a couple teachers that were doing flipped classrooms. I had some teachers that were so frustrated for different reasons that they would tell the kids to put the iPads away when they walked into the room. And so you have the whole gamut. And I look at this process of being a 3 to 4 year process.
Okay.
It's not something that is, people are just different. Some people are going to jump on board right away. They don't care if they have some failure or some frustrations. They'll figure it out and they go on. Some people aren't willing to go through that. And so they wait to see how things are going to evolve and so forth. We're in our second year now, and I think the use of our learning management system and the iPads has just gone way up compared to last year.
Do you have some faculty who still refuse to use them, or don't use them, or don't feel comfortable with them, or haven't figured out a way to use them correctly?
All of it. I think we have a lot of successes. Like I said, we've got a number of our science teachers doing a flipped classroom, where kids are either watching videos or the lesson at home, or they may do it the first 10 minutes of class, and then the teacher has the rest of the time to just go around and help individually while they do a lab or whatever. We have an 8th grade teacher that created their own book, and so every kid is able to work at their own pace, and she can go around and help each student individually. So I think in those cases the technology has really improved the way we're educating those kids. So I think there are a lot of those successes. And this year, as I said earlier, we're really, I think the use by teachers of the iPads and how they're going to use them in the classroom has just grown. And I just got done helping a teacher who's trying to get all of their math standards and objectives and notes and practices all combined into our learning management system. So basically he'll go paperless, and it'll save him time in terms of getting things planned and organized, but it also allows him to have class time then to just go around and help every student, so to be more available.
Work math problems.
Sure.
What are the teachers saying about those that have implemented and have had success? Are they trying to encourage other teachers, and are they sharing their best practices?
Yeah.
Are you doing some of those types of
We
situations?
are. November 11th, we have what we call our district tech meeting, and that's one of the things that we're going to do is showcase some of the best practices that teachers are doing. And I think that's the biggest thing that we have right now. Some teachers have this tool, they still don't understand, how do I use this to impact students? And, it's completely new. If you think of a teacher that stood in front of a room and lectured, for example, and now you give them this tool, that's what they know. They have to learn a whole new way of teaching. So by looking at best practices and having teachers share what they've done, that's how you get ideas, and that's how you really move forward. So it's hard because we don't have the time to do those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So we'll do it then. In the meetings that I have, it's interesting, starting probably the 1st of October, we'll start doing more of that in just the team meetings. I'll have someone bring in something that they've done and just share it with the other people in the group.
Cool.
So that they can see those kind of things. And actually, Kim and I have a page we call Design Tools, where that's what we're trying to do.
Right.
And so we have, right now, we just started it this year, so right now we have really a lot of directions and hints and those kinds of things for people. But we do want, and there is a place to do what is called showcases, where you can put
Yay.
activities and projects on so people can see them.
Very
Exactly.
nice. Was there anything within the first year that you personally, trying to introduce different things, found as a struggle or an obstacle, something that you didn't necessarily expect to happen?
I would say two things. One, I found teaching teachers is not any different than teaching students, which was really kind of interesting, because you have students that are there to really learn and excited about it and take off with your ideas, and you have other people that are resistant and don't want to do it. And so, teachers are people, and so it was no different. So that was kind of a surprise in a way. But I think the biggest thing was just time. A teacher has, and I was trying to meet with teachers during their plan periods, and they don't have a lot of other time. And when you go in and say, okay, I'm going to take some of your plan time to try to teach you about, technology or our learning management system, it was tough sometimes to get them to really get involved and put that time in. We tried a few after-school meetings to get people to come into, and they just didn't want to do it during this school year. So that was probably the biggest thing, is just how do you find the time to get, to educate teachers, to show them those kinds of things that you want them to see. With college career readiness standards, those kinds of things they are going to have to do, and so in the next year or two, that's what we're really going to focus on. And so no matter what you teach, you're going to have some use of the iPad to help students reach those college and career readiness standards.